Hey everybody, Savannah here. This is my April recap video. I'm going to try to go through it quick because I feel like I have a million things here to show this time. And I'll probably get a couple interruptions since I have both kids home today because my daughter is sick. She's got an ear infection and she's starting to give me this cold too. I have sniffles and sore throat. It's not fun. Okay, so I have just this giant pile in front of me, and I wanted to show you, I suppose, my finish real quick. Yeah, we'll start with the finish that I had for this month. I mean, I had a couple finishes. Yeah, I had a couple finishes for April, but I'll show you this one first and then the other one when I show the actual whip, because it's just a page finish. Alright, let's see, we'll probably put this one. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. This is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. I decided to crop her because there was no way I would be able to do that giant Mirabilia. I mean, her head or her face alone is massive compared to other Mirabilias I've done. So I'm glad that I chose to do this. While I'm calling her finished, she's in everything. She's got her beads and all her metallics. Oop, this way. I think I'm going to do a quick just single stitch border around because she just looks so silly, kind of like this. To me anyway, she just looks incomplete. So I forgot what I was going to do. Maybe I don't have red Krynic, so I was debating on mixing gold Krynic with red floss, like one of these that are in her well, this is her cape. But we'll see. Anyway, so I got her finished. When did I start her? I forget. I don't have the details on my screen because I'm trying to black out my screen as much as possible so I don't have that much of a reflection in my glass. So I don't have my details. So she's finished, technically. It's not a finish. Okay, what else? Alright, for homework for Magical Stitches this past month, I don't even remember what these ones were for, but I did them for homework. I picked up Fairy Grandmother. Whoa, sorry. This is a lavender and lace pattern. Oh, there we go. One of the prompts said to do, I think, 500 stitches on something, and so I did that. I did 500 stitches on her. I got a good, wow, this lighting is not, oh, do you see that? Wow, that's really dark. This is just green, as like green and purple. Very dark today. So I got a chunk done. This is part of her skirt. I enjoy lavender lace patterns. I mean, like this one, and then the other one that I did, which was, what was it? In the Arms of an Angel, because it didn't feel like full confetti, and it didn't feel like full blocks of color. It was just a nice even mix of the two, and I enjoy that because it keeps you entertained. So there was that one, and then the other homework that I had was, I don't even know what it was. Why do I keep saying that? But I chose to work on my World Collection by SodaStitch. Forgetting to tell you the fabrics, but you know what? I really don't have the information fully. Oh, that one's a 30. It's right there. It says 32 count lamb's wool Joblin, which is nice. This one's on a 28 count Monaco. Anyway, so I did the homework on it, and then I just continued to, you know, stitch on it till she was finished, since this is so far behind. So I did Netherlands. You can kind of see the threads in the back because of the lighting. Just ignore that. She's super cute. I like the back stitching on this. I enjoy the back stitching because it just brings it to life. So that was that. You know, Little House Needleworks, Farmhouse Christmas Grandma's Quilt. I am doing this for the May. Well, I did some of it for homework last month, and then I decided to do some more of it for May's extra credit, which I normally don't even focus on extra credit. It's just I was looking through the prompts, and this one called perfect, and I was already working on it, so there's this one. I really like this one because it's a quilt square and I love it. So this is as far as I am now. We'll see. I'll probably get it finished soon. Have that up there. Okay, it's not the last cross stitch piece I worked on, but the other ones were just like so small I didn't even want to pull them out. But this is what I decided to do for my Game of Thrones challenge that I chose. That way. I'll post a picture of what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. I decided for this, I decided a lot of things. But for this, I was going to work on my giant Game of Thrones piece until the end of the season, which is, I believe, May 19th is the last episode. So I was going to work on it from April 14th all the way until May 19th. Granted, I don't work on it very much or at all on those Sundays because there's no stitching while Game of Thrones is on. That's not going to happen at all. Yeah, I think I talked about that in my last video. There's just nothing going on. So, this side. So I picked it up and I finished this page, which I'm sorry about the lighting. This is, you can't win, right? Either reflecting in my glasses terribly or terrible lighting. So I finished up this page, which you can see is, if I could get it closer, which I probably can't without it going totally black. This is the shoulder of the mountain. Gregor Clegane. That is, I believe, the character's name. It looks pretty good, I think. I mean, when I look at it in person, I think it looks really good. And then there's right here, you can't really see because of the lighting. You see these lines? That's like a staff. And then there's a White Walker, kind of just like the shadow of a White Walker right there. And then up in this corner is like the shoulder of another White Walker, which you won't be able to really see them because they're just part of the background. Anyways, then I went over, oh, well, this was part of my mania too, to start a new page across the top every day until the top was, you know, each page is started on the top, and then I'll probably do this page and maybe this page if I feel like it. But, and, you know, so I started working on this one, and then May 1st happened, and I started this last night. So the next page. And then I was on my phone. I got in you know, Instagram comments or whatever, and I was looking, and there was these two other people who wanted to get this pattern as well. And while I had directed them to the Etsy store that does sell this pattern, they couldn't find it. So I went on Etsy, I went and got the link for them, sent it to them. But while I was there, I was flipping through like the photos because, you know, they can post multiple photos on Etsy. The second photo was a mock-up of what it would look like stitched, except it had been cropped at the top, and I just about lost my brains. Like, why didn't I think of that before? And I'll post it again right here, showing you the cropped bit that I figured out for myself. I was like, why am I doing all this extra background up at top when it's boring? This page was going to be so boring for me to get through. I just want to get to, this is where the faces start. The faces start in this row. So I asked on Instagram if you guys seen. I went nuts. I always need to somebody else to verify my thoughts and my ideas, you know, in case I'm being crazy, you know, in case my idea is a dumb one. I need somebody to help me out. Anyway, so everybody gave me awesome feedback saying it'd be totally cool if I crop and just start the next page right here. Which, why not? And Cowgirl Kate Paints Aplenty, I believe that's the full name on Instagram and maybe Flosstube. She told me it'd be fine even if I didn't like it. I have all this extra space that I know I can fill in if I want to back, or you know, later on in my life. Which, you know what, is fantastic. So I do have all this. It's a couple days worth, and this is one, you know, one night. I'm not cutting any of the floss off that I parked just in case for some weird reason. And I'm just gonna start here and work this little bit of page. And then I'll get to go to this page. So I'm really excited. I know it's hard to see. It's, oh yeah, it's so hard to see. But I'm pretty excited about that prospect, the idea, all the stuff. But that brings me to my next thought about it is, I know a page on a Haid or a full coverage costs, or it's like a $15 credit on Stitch from Stash. If it's a partial page, is it still $15? I'll probably have to ask that on the Facebook group, but, and this, you know, I just started the first square in the page, so it's not like I'm going to be anywhere close to a page finish just yet. But that's awesome. Why do I keep pulling this side? But that's awesome. I'm super excited. I really wish I could get this closer without it, you know, getting super dark. But it's huge. It's my 11 by 17 frame. I don't want to take it off because I have my fabric in there just right. Because my Lowry, the way I moved it, it has to clamp to this side. And with all this bulk fabric, it has to be just perfect for it to hold on to it. Anyways, this is so exciting. Now I feel like I have renewed love for it, you know, not so dreading it, considering it would all be background. So that's exciting. Okay, keep going. All right, I got a little bit of haul that I wanted to show because I thought it was a pretty good haul. There is a thrift store here in Colorado Springs that I just recently learned about. It's called Who Gives a Scrap. And I was told about it a couple weeks ago. Didn't think I'd ever go because it's on the opposite side of town, which is a good 30 minutes away from me, where I live. I don't like to go to the opposite side of town if I don't have to. But I had to go to the opposite side of town last week because my father-in-law needed me to drive him over to something. And I thought, hey, I'm over on this side of town. Let's just go take a real quick gander. The store is okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing. But, you know, for a crafter, it's pretty good. So I went and looked around and finally found... hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I was requested by a child to help. Anyways, I moseyed on around, and then I finally found the cross-stitch section, which was little, but, you know, it's better than nothing. So I'm looking through it, and I found these gems. And I was super excited. I did look through the rest of everything, trying to find anything that I knew somebody, you know, anybody, you know, trying to think of others that, you know, I follow on Instagram or watch on Flosstube. Maybe I'd find something there that would appease to one of them, but nothing looked good enough, so I didn't get anything else. And then all they had was Aida fabric, which is fine, but it's not something I prefer to stitch on. I seem to struggle with Aida a little bit more than I do with linen and even weave, so I prefer not to stitch on it. Anyways, I'm going to take it out of the package. I found Ice Angel by Lavender Lace, and it was only $2, which I was like, yep, you're coming home with me. A lovely lady on Instagram, or not Instagram, on Facebook, she sent me this inker. What is that? Marlit. It's like a satin. That's because this pattern is so old. It calls for a Balger, which I guess now is just Kreinik, you know, blending filament. And then this Marlet, and I'm like, what are these things? I have no clue what this stuff is. And so she sent me that. And then obviously I can just easily get the blending filament, no problem. So that was cool. And then I found this one. This one was shut, stapled, and everything. This is Angel of Autumn by Lavender Lace. She's pretty. And she was also $2, which is pretty cool. But there was a bonus to this package. Oh, it came with everything. Everything but the fabric and, you know, the DMC floss. So it came with the, what is this? The DMC metallic embroidery thread. I've never used this kind before. I've used the kind that comes on like a skein, but not the kind that's on a spool. Is it the same stuff? Should I change that over to Kreinik or Petite Treasure Braid? It also came with the 2 beads called for. Mill Hill beads. Just gold. 2 different golds. And then the Karen Wildflowers. So this one is Flame. And this one is called Burnt Toast. Oh, it's terrible lighting. I've never had trouble with lighting before. Oh, that has writing on it. I don't have a plain white piece of paper. That's unfortunate. Can you see it? Can you see it? It's really pretty. It's like there's like pinkies, oranges, purple, some brown. It's pretty. And this one's just a red variegated, which is hard to tell. And I thought $2 for these alone, perfect. And plus the beads. My husband's like, why did you buy that stuff? And I'm like, you don't understand how good of a deal that this was. And so it's pretty awesome. I don't know if I'll ever stitch them or when I will, but I have them and they're lovely. Can't be $4, right? What else? Okay, I think that's it for stitchy-wise stuff. I have a couple other things I wanted to show real quick. No, I'm not going to show that. It's not needed. Alright, I'll show you my diamond painting real quick. Progress on that. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? This little bit of coloring right here along his nose is a little questionable, but it still looks good, especially from a good distance away. So this is a picture of the famous painting called Prince of Peace. I believe the girl who painted this was 8 at the time that she painted it, and she painted it on like a 4x4, 4-foot by 4-foot canvas or whatever type of material she painted it on. And then, what was it? The next part of the story, it's like shortly after she completed it, it was stolen or something like that. I don't know exactly. I think that's what it said. This picture has been featured in the movie Heaven is for Real, I think. I want to say I've seen the picture before that movie, but that's where I remember it the most. It's my most favorite picture of Jesus that I've ever seen. My most favorite picture. The girl who painted it went on, did a whole bunch of other stuff, and then she got a calling again when she was 19 to repaint it. And this is what her repainting looked like. Like that. I don't love this one as much, but it's still very good. So yeah, I'm just taking my time getting this done. About halfway, just over halfway finished with it. I really like it, especially from a distance. It looks really good. My mother bought me a Diamond Art Club kit, which super excited, and I got, oh, it says Mama Knows, but it's definitely Mother of Dragons. It's big. It's not as big as this box. I don't know if I want to pull it out. The canvas is very soft, like it said. She's big. She's bigger than this one. Well, maybe it's a little bit wide, just a little bit wider, but definitely longer. I'm excited to start that one. But that's not going to be done or started until this one is done. And lastly, oh, kitty, gotta move, buddy. Come on, move. I know, sorry. Okay, for this last one. This quilt right here that I made, I designed it myself back in 2000 and got my notes. Designed this probably back in February of 2014. I don't know. Oh, I know why. I was on Pinterest one day. I saw a Mario quilt in the same style and thought, ooh, that's cool. And then I took it one step further. I'm like, let's do my favorite Nintendo game, which is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It's my most favorite. And so I set out about to designing it. I looked at a bunch of like perler bead, because this is way before I was cross-stitching. Well, not way before. Right before. No, this was a year before I started cross-stitching. A year before I was cross-stitching. So I was looking at perler bead, like pattern type things to chart these little motifs out. And then I somehow figured out how much fabric I was going to need for each color. I was a little short on the green. So the dye lot is a bit different, but I think from a distance you can't really tell. So I went back in my Facebook to try to get all the dates that this thing happened, but I don't know how accurate they are. So I have March 6, 2014 as the day I finished cutting out all the fabrics. Each block in this quilt, I cut it at 1.5 inches square. So that, yeah, 1.5? Yes. So that each block would end up at 1 inch. It's tiny. Tiny little. Get out of the trash can, kitty. I know, I was definitely crazy. The way that I would do this, I'll show you a little piece of it. This side right here. The way I would do this to get each block was I had like fusible, interfacing. Yeah, like really thin stuff, that you could iron your fabric to. And I would line up all my squares in the pattern needed and iron that down, and then I would just fold each like line of blocks, fold it over, and then sew it. And I'd do that all this way, and then I'd go back and do it this way. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work because I did not finish sewing this top. I mean, I did take quite a few breaks out of just straight frustration. Almost a whole year later before this top was done. It was January 21st, 2015 was when I posted the top picture finished, which I'll show you in a minute. And then from there, I left it, and then one day I decided, okay, I need to start, so I went and got batting. All I got was like a big queen size sheet, because I wasn't going to buy fabric for it. I just did a flat sheet, and don't step on this, kitty, and used that as backing, and I had started to quilt it. I got maybe 3 or 4 lines into it before I decided to take a break. I just folded it up, packed it up, said, nope, I'm good. Don't want to do this. That was when my sewing machine was also down in the basement. It was cold and gross, and just, I didn't want to deal with it, so I put it away. Plus, I was having issues with my machine, my quilting, and this is all a bunch of... But when Cheryl of Tranquil Stitches shouted me out in her Flosstube anniversary video, number 52, she gave me the sweetest shout out, which was, thank you. I appreciate it so much. It was so kind of you. She mentioned my Zelda diamond painting and how much she liked it. And I was like, oh, she likes Zelda stuff? Okay. And that kind of got the wheels turned and saying, hey, I should finish this quilt. All I have to do is quilt it and put the binding on. Just finish it before my next Flosstube video so that I can show it to her. I can show it off. Granted, yes, I've already posted a video or a picture on my Instagram because I couldn't wait. But I did finish this on April 29th. I did. Finally. Hi, Orange. Here, so let's show ya. This thing is huge and very heavy, but I absolutely love it. My quilting design that I had initially chose was quite an undertaking, even for just straight lines, but alright, so we'll start here. Orange, you're kind of right in the way. I'm gonna have to move you. Come on. Alright, we'll start at this side because it's so big. We got a key and a red rupee. The treasure chest, which this is the one where right down, I can't reach. You can kind of see, yeah, you can see the green dye lot issues. I tried mixing it in, but then we got Zelda, and then we got a bomb, and the Hyrule Triforce thing. And then in the middle, which is my favorite, is the three hearts for the life. There's again Zelda, but Link as well. And then what's at the bottom? Oh, this is so hard, guys. So heavy. You know, that potion. And then the sword, a chicken, and a green rupee, and 5 arrows. Yeah, this thing is massive. I can't even hold it. I can barely, yeah, that's my arm span. I can barely get it. I have no clue what I'm going to do with this thing, but it's done. Oh no. And it's so badly put together that it's not something I would want to gift or sell. I already have to fix the binding right there. Didn't get it. I'll have to fix that. But thankfully you guys can't see all the mess ups in the video. This thing, like I said, is freaking heavier than heck. I think it's my heaviest quilt yet. I mean, and that's a king size quilt that I made, and that's not even as heavy. I think it's just because of all the little squares sewn together. I don't know. Just a gray sheet on the back. Anyways. So that's it. This video is probably a little bit longer than I expected it, but you know, I tried. I always try, right? So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing and commenting and liking my video. Sorry. I feel like my nose is just... So thanks, guys. Thanks for all the support on Instagram, too. I always go there first for stitchy advice and any kind of advice I need. And it's just like, I feel like I can get instant answers there. because Instagram is just, I love that. Anyways, Game of Thrones. That last episode was freaking nuts. Like I said, like on all social media, I felt like I had run a race after watching that episode. My anxiety was through the roof with all that went on. And come to find out, because I do watch the theories and the breakdowns and stuff like that, mostly only by new rock stars on YouTube, because they're fantastic. They explained that the music at the end of that last episode had a certain note or something that causes anxiety. So I'm like, oh, okay, they were doing it on purpose, even though, yes, I was pretty much anxious from the beginning of that stinking episode. It was so good. Now I can't wait to see the last 3 episodes, which is sad to think there's only 3 episodes left, but we need to see who takes that Iron Throne, right? We need to see. Oh, I also do a, I think it's too late for everybody else, but there's the guessthethrone.com, where before the season started, you could put in your rankings of who lives and who dies, and then there's 3 questions at the end. Who's the first to die, who's the last to die, and who's going to take the Iron Throne? I got all but one. Well, out of the pool of who lives and dies, I got all of them right, except for one. And then for the 3 questions at the end, I got that first one wrong, which sucks, but other than that, I feel pretty good about it. We'll see what happens next episode. Okay, thank you again for watching. See you later. Bye.